Many children who have been adopted have experienced disruptions in their development, which have caused them to develop at different stages within different domains. This concept is important for parents who are adopting to understand. For example, you may have a 15-year-old child who looks physically 15. However, emotionally, the child may be behaving like a 9-year-old, function socially like a child who is 7, cognitively, the child may be 8, and the sexual development of the child may be 12. Recognizing that the chronological age does not always match where the child is developmentally is crucial. Once this recognition is made and accepted, parents who foster or adopt can adapt their demands and expectations and parenting approach to meet the child at their actual developmental age. By doing this, parents are being emotionally supportive and nurturing the child. I'll introduce the idea of differences between chronological and developmental age with an activity. For this activity, we are going to read descriptions of a child's different developmental domains. After I read each domain, I will ask you to estimate the child's age based on each domain on the slide. A parent has found advertisements of women in lingerie stuffed behind the child's bed. Write down the estimated age of this child. A child has difficulty completing basic hygiene skills. He will go for days without brushing his teeth or even showering. The parent repeatedly tells him to take a shower, or more specifically, to use soap. Write the estimated age of this child. A child had a friend over today to play, but continued to leave the friend and go off and do his own thing. The parent had to repeatedly tell him to go back and play with his friend. Write down the age you think this child is. This child got very upset about his homework tonight. He said he was tired and could not do any work. He slammed down his book and ran into his bed and refused to get up the rest of the night. How old does this child sound? The parent found the child's homework in the trash after he left for school. When he got home from school, the parent confronted him to find out why. The child continued to state that he did not throw his homework in the trash. Even after being showed the crumpled up piece of homework, the child continued to state that it was not his. How old do you think this child is? This child is completely focused on food. Every morning, the only thing that he could think about was breakfast. He would get up in the middle of the night and eat, and even then he could not complete his morning routine until he ate breakfast. When he was hungry, he could not do anything other than focus on getting food. How old does this child sound? This child had 3 chores that he was expected to do every weekend. Although they had explained to him with step-by-step directions, he would always rush through the chores, only partially completing them. Each weekend, he would run to the parent 5 minutes after he started doing his chores and state he was done. Every week, the parent had to provide specific directions for each chore. However, the child continued to not complete the chores. How old is this child? All of the children we described are just one child. His name is Randy, and he's 13. At 5'7", he's taller than his foster mother and weighs 130 pounds. One of the oldest in his 7th grade class, he was held back for 1 year. He is much bigger than most of the kids in his class. He's often mistaken for being in high school based upon his appearance. Randy came home to his adoptive parents at age 8 after being in 7 placements. Does Randy's age match the ages you guessed? What difficulties do you think that Randy has encountered on a regular basis due to having such a varied developmental age spectrum? What challenges do you think this would present for you as his adoptive parent? Let's wrap up by discussing the key takeaways I hope you have from this theme. Child development involves predictable steps or milestones when new abilities or capacities are achieved. But each child has a unique developmental path. Trauma and other factors may cause developmental delays or regressions. These delays should be assessed by a professional who understands typical and atypical behavior. Parents who are adopting should be prepared to adjust their expectations about children's developmental capacities and to parent the developmental stage rather than the chronological age. And understanding what developmental building blocks may have been missed will help the child regain developmental milestones. You will need to be attuned, realistic, and emotionally supportive and nurturing in order to successfully parent a child whose developmental age is different from their chronological age. I hope you have enjoyed this class. The next class will be learning about attachment and its importance in the parent-child relationship.